had shown how to install the derailleurs and shifters in a previous episode. Check it out via the I button and the description below. Today we are tuning the front derailleur. First, set the chain on the first chain ring. That was easy. Now we'll have to adjust the angle and height of the derailleur. For that, we'll have to loosen it a bit. That should be good. Let's move to the other side. The low limit screw moves the cage like so in the first gear. Unscrew until the cage moves fully inward. And stop just when it won't move in any further. Find the sweet spot. There we are. Also loosen the high limit screw to roughly the same height as the low limit screw. Nearly the same now. Let's set the cage height. When fully extended outward, check the gap between the tips of the outermost chainring teeth and the bottom edge of the cage. That's fully extended. This gap should be around 4 to 5 millimeters. I'll use this 4 mm Allen key as a height gauge. It should be about the thickness of the Allen key. This helps the chain shift smoothly between the rings. Let's bring it down. Okay. Extend the cage. Whoops! Alright. Fully extended. That should do. Now let's adjust the cage angle. See this? The gap on one side is less than the other. The cage is tilted backwards. I'm rotating it towards myself. Looks better. It's easier to judge from the top. Check if the derailleur cage is parallel to the chainring. Tighten it in place. Perfect. We've got the height and angle sorted. That goes to the rear derailleur. The shifter cable for the front derailleur will go through here. Out the other side and loops over the top, since this is a top swing derailleur. Now check that the shifter is set to the first gear. Put the shifter cover on. Turn the barrel adjuster all the way in, then back out one full turn. This gives us some headroom for fine-tuning later. Let's head back down. Finally, the shifter cable gets locked behind the pinch plate. Keep it tensed using pliers and tighten the pinch bolt to medium torque. The shifter cable should feel snug and not slack. Let's start tuning, and remember, shifter on the first gear position, chain on the first ring and the first cog at the back. If you want to learn how to tune the rear derailleur from scratch, check out my other videos and the link in the description. If you want to see how I removed and cleaned this derailleur, the link's in the description. Here's how it works. When you upshift, the cable pulls and the cage moves outward, guiding the chain to the next larger chain ring. The limit screws restrict the maximum inward and outward cage movement to avoid chain drop. That's the high limit screw. It restricts outward movement. And the low limit screw prevents the cage from moving far too inwards. Tuning the front derailleur involves setting the high and low limit screws and getting the cable tension just right for smooth and precise shifting. First, we'll tune the low limit. Our aim is to reduce the gap between the back of the chain and the inner side of the derailleur cage. Tightening the low limit screw pushes the cage outward, reducing the gap. This will prevent the chain from falling off when shifting from second to first gear. Tighten the low limit screw until the gap is reduced to around 2 mm. And the back of the chain shouldn't rub against the derailleur cage. This looks good, but let's say you over-tighten. The cage moves out too much and you'll get this annoying chain rub. If this happens in the first gear in your cycle, increase the gap by loosening the low limit screw. There. It's fine now. Keeping this gap minimal ensures that when you downshift from second to first, the chain doesn't fall behind the crankset. The inner wall of the cage acts like a safety net. If you notice the cable's gone slack after setting the low limit, retension it to how it was earlier. Loosen the pinch bolt, pull the cable tight, and retighten. This is how it should be. Now shift to the second gear. It should move up, but it's struggling because the cable tension is too low. That was very jumpy. Let's set it right from the shifter. Turning the barrel anti-clockwise pulls the cable and moves the cage outward. And tightening or turning in moves the cage inward. So depending on how you want the cage to move, adjust the barrel accordingly. Right now we want the cage to move out, so turn it anti-clockwise. Let's check. Better, but still a bit sloppy. The cage needs to move out further. Let's go one full turn anti-clockwise. And now it's perfect. Let's shift to the next chainring. But before shifting to the third chainring, shift the rear derailleur to the last gear. This helps avoid cross-chaining. Third gear on the front. This should be smooth. You should see the small gap between the chain and behind the cage wall. Ensure there is no chain rub. Looks perfect. Now let's move the chain to the middle so there's no excessive cross chaining while we run through all the gears. Let's shift through all the gears and check how it performs. Awesome! Keep an eye on the gear indicator. It's moving a bit too far beyond the last number. The cage is going out too far and the chain might fall off. Time to fix it by adjusting the high limit screw. You see this gap? That's what's causing excessive play. We need to close it to fix it. We are going to tighten the high limit screw to the point where its tip touches the stopper plate. If you can't see it, you'll feel the extra torque needed to tighten it, and that's the sweet spot. Be careful. If you over-tighten, the screw will push the stopper plate down, moving the cage inward, and that could cause shifting issues from the second gear and even chain rub. Now the indicator barely moves past the gear number. Even visually, there's almost no play, and that's fine. Let's do one final run through all the gears. And that's the final bit you mustn't forget. Smash that like button if you found this video helpful, and do check out my other videos. For more such DIY bike content, subscribe to my channel. Bye bye.